You make $100,000 a year. It's the 23rd of the month. You're standing in line for lunch, and before you order, you check your banking app. Quietly. The way people check a wound, $100,000 a year, and you're doing math about a sandwich. That gap between what you earn and how you feel is not in your head. It's not because you're bad with money. It has a mechanism. The mechanism has a number, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. I'm Arthur. I worked an ordinary job for 30 years, retired at 52, and now I explain what nobody explained to me. Quick honest note. This channel uses AI tools for the voice and visuals you're seeing, and nothing here is financial advice. Today isn't even really about money. It's about the plumbing behind the feeling of money. All right. The number to remember today is 70. 70. It's not a dollar amount. It's not an age. But I'd bet my wood shop that this number, your version of it, explains why you feel the way you feel on the 23rd of the month. By the end, you'll be able to calculate yours in about 10 minutes with a bank statement. 70. Hold it. The best year of my working life, salary-wise, I earned $96,000. I was 44. Operations manager, a whole department under me, a parking spot with my name on a little sign. And I have never, in my entire life, including the year I had $412 to my name, felt more broke than I did that year. Doesn't make sense, does it? At 25, I earned a third of that and bought concert tickets without thinking. At 44, earning triple, I hesitated at the grocery store over which steak to put back. My hands did the math before my brain could stop them. I remember standing in that aisle thinking, where is it? Where does $96,000 go? Here's what I didn't understand then, and what took one painful night with my wife Ellen and a spreadsheet to learn. We'll get to that night. I kept looking for the leak, a purchase, a habit, a villain I could cancel. I audited the coffees. I glared at the streaming subscriptions like they'd stolen my truck. But the money wasn't leaking out of my life, friend. It was scheduled out. There's a difference, and the difference is the whole video. A leak is something you find and plug. What I had was architecture, a structure of automatic, recurring, committed costs that had grown one reasonable decision at a time until the structure itself was the problem. Nobody feels architecture. That's why nobody finds it. 3 mechanisms build it. Let me show you all 3. First mechanism. A ratchet is a tool that turns in one direction and locks against turning back. Your fixed costs are a ratchet. Follow the sequence of a normal, successful life. You get a raise, so the apartment becomes a nicer apartment. Another raise, the car becomes a newer car with a payment of $580. A promotion, the gym becomes the good gym, the phone becomes the newest phone, the insurance grows to cover the better things. Each decision in the moment is modest, affordable, earned even. I'm not here to scold a single one of them, but notice the direction. Every one of those decisions turns the ratchet one click. And here's the property nobody mentions. None of them turn back on their own. Have you ever heard anyone say, I got used to the nicer apartment, so I moved back to the smaller one? It happens roughly never. Comfort locks. That's the click. Spending that rises is normal. Spending that can't fall is the trap. And the cruelest part, the ratchet consumes raises in advance. A large share of high earners report living paycheck to paycheck. The money arrives pre-assigned to commitments made by an earlier version of you. That's why the raise never feels like anything after 90 days. It was spent by a ghost. At 25, my costs were low and loose. Almost everything could flex. At 44, my costs weren't just high. They were locked. That distinction, not the amount, the lockedness, is what your body registers on the 23rd of the month. The feeling you call broke is actually the feeling of no room to move. Second mechanism. Somewhere in the last couple of decades, America quietly changed how everything is priced. Nothing costs an amount anymore. Everything costs an amount per month. The car isn't $42,000. It's $580 a month. The phone is $38 a month. The software, the mattress, even the dog food, subscriptions all the way down. And here's why that matters psychologically. Your brain evaluates $38 a month against your monthly income, where it looks like nothing. It does not evaluate the honest number, that $38 a month is $456 a year every year, forever, because subscriptions are ratchets too. Quick test. Do you know, right now, within $50, your household's total monthly recurring commitments? Not your spending, your commitments. The number that leaves automatically before you decide anything. Almost nobody knows it. I didn't, and the industry is counting on that because per month pricing is specifically designed to be individually invisible and collectively enormous. 10 invisible nothings of $40 each is $4,800 a year, walking out the door in camouflage. The monthly brain also explains why you feel poor while technically affording everything. Every commitment fits. That's how it got approved. But the sum of things that fit is a life with no slack. You optimized each decision and lost the war. Third mechanism, and the sneakiest, because it lives outside your bank account entirely. When your income rises, you don't just buy better things. You move, physically or socially, into rooms where better things are normal. New neighborhood, new job title, new circle. And your sense of normal spending doesn't come from your budget, friend. It never did. It comes from the people around you. At $50,000, surrounded by $50,000 lives, a used sedan feels fine. At $100,000, in rooms where everyone leases German cars and mentions Cabo in the spring, the same used sedan starts to feel like a statement. Nothing about the car changed. The audience changed. Here's the trapdoor. Every income level buys you a ticket into a room where your income is the small one. Every level. There is no level where the room stops. I promise you the $500,000 earners are in a room with someone's jet. So if you're waiting for the income where you finally feel ahead of the room, that income doesn't exist. The room moves with you. It's a treadmill with better lighting. I climbed every rung of that ladder in the salary levels video, 25,000 to $500,000, and the room moves at every single one. Pause and actually answer this. Whose spending is your normal calibrated to right now? Name the actual people, because you're paying their bills emotionally and you didn't even get to eat the food. So, the night with Ellen. This is where the number 70 earns its keep. It was a Tuesday in February. I was 44, and we'd just had the "where does it all go" argument for the third time that winter. You know the argument. Nobody wins it because nobody in the room has the data. Just feelings, and feelings fight dirty. Ellen, who is smarter than me in every way that has ever mattered, stopped mid-sentence and said, "We're done guessing." She pulled 3 months of bank statements onto the kitchen table and sorted every single line into just 2 piles. Pile 1, committed, anything automatic, contractual, or locked. Mortgage, cars, insurance, subscriptions, minimum payments, the works. Pile 2, chosen. Anything we actually decided in the moment. Groceries count as mostly chosen. The gym contract does not. 2 piles, 2 hours, 1 calculator. Our committed pile was 78% of our take-home pay. 78. Before either of us chose anything in a given month, before 1 grocery run, 1 tank of gas, 1 birthday present, 78 cents of every dollar was already gone. Pre-spent by the ghost of decisions past. I stared at that number and felt 2 things at once. Shame, briefly, and then, honestly, relief. Because for the first time, the feeling had an explanation that wasn't, "I'm bad at this." I wasn't broke. I was booked. Here's the rule of thumb I built from that night, and from 30 years of watching this pattern in other people's kitchens since. I call it the 70% line. Take your monthly take-home pay. Add up only your committed costs, the automatic, the contractual, the locked. Divide. That ratio is the single best predictor I know of how money feels in your life, regardless of income. Under 50%, Money feels calm. Surprises are absorbed. Raises actually arrive. 50 to 70. Functional but tight. You're fine on paper and tense in person. Over 70%. You will feel broke. At any income. I don't care if it's 96,000 or 400,000. Over the line, every month is a corridor with no doors, and your nervous system knows it even when your salary argues otherwise. This is why the raise never fixed it. The raise raised the line too, remember, pre-spent by the Ratchet. And it's why the feeling follows people up the ladder. Rich is a number, but feeling rich is a ratio. You can't out-earn a ratio. You can only rebuild it. Before the fix, the bill for not fixing it. Run the tape forward 10 years on a household earning $100,000 and living over the line. They'll gross $1 million over the decade. And here's the sentence that should stop your heart a little. With a committed ratio near 80%, it's entirely possible, common, to pass $1 million through your hands and keep almost none. No margin for investing, so compounding never starts. And starting even 7 years late can mean 6 figures less at the end. Past performance guarantees nothing, but arithmetic doesn't care. Every emergency lands on credit, so they pay interest for the privilege of having no slack. And they arrive at my age with high income, thin savings, and the quiet dread that they did something wrong. They didn't do something wrong. They did what every room they were in called normal. And normal, friend, is a ratio built to stay locked. The fix isn't a budget. Budgets attack the chosen pile, the small one, the one you already feel guilty about. The fix is attacking the committed pile, which nobody ever audits because it's fixed. It isn't fixed, it's just locked, and locks have keys. 3 moves in order of pain. Reshop the locks, insurance, phone, internet. An afternoon of calls I put off for 2 years took our ratio down 4 points. Kill the camouflage. Every subscription, canceled by default, re-added only when missed. That was 3 more points. And when the season allows, break one big lock, the car cycle or the housing size. That's where whole tens of points live. One kept car instead of an upgraded one moved us 6. Then the second car finished paying itself off, and we didn't replace it with another payment. That one was 14 points on its own. 4, 3, 6, 14. The small locks give you room to breathe. The big ones give you the decade. We got from 78 to 51 in under 2 years, same salary the whole way, and the 23rd of the month became just a date. That was the year the investing actually started, the year that eventually bought the porch I'm speaking to you from. So, tonight, or this weekend, bank statement, kitchen table, 2 piles, 1 number, 10 minutes. Then come tell me your ratio in the comments. No shame here. Mine was 78 and I own a wood shop now. And once your ratio is back under the line and there's finally margin, the exact order to deploy it is its own video. Don't varnish first. Money doesn't shout, it whispers. And what it's whispering is a ratio. Take care of your money. It's quietly taking care of you.